Hello, welcome to another episode here on Learn and Become podcast. It's a pleasure to be with you again. And today we are on episode 64. We had a pause of a few months. We're going to talk about it. We're also going to talk about why we came back, why now, and it's going to be an amazing conversation. Thank you for being here with us and welcome to episode 64. If you don't know me yet, my name is Andre. I am the creator of Escola de Inglês Lab, which is our program, and also of Learn and Become podcast. I learned English at, I think I was 17 years old at the time. I didn't like English at all, but at some point in my life, I decided that I wanted to play soccer, and I carried that with me. All throughout my childhood and my youth, probably till I was like 17, 18, around there. And I decided I'd like to go on an exchange to the United States trying to play soccer. And that's why I learned English. At first, I started just because English is important, but as I was progressing, developing, and learning, this opportunity came up and I didn't think twice. I gave my best and I went to the United States and I lived in North Carolina for about 2 years. It was an amazing, life-changing experience. And yes, and after I came back, I worked at this American company for about 3 years. And in this meantime, I was creating the school. I was teaching online. I was learning how to teach. I was developing our methodology or way to teach. And now after a few years, we have a better organized institution. We have a better organized teaching process. And we know it's just the beginning. So we've been working really hard for the last 2 years, to be very specific. That's when I left the company and I decided I would go full time into the business, into teaching. And it's been an amazing journey. And that will take us to 2020. And that's when we started our podcast. In January 13th, 2020, was the day I recorded the very first episode. On that year, we recorded over 50 episodes. We did one a week. It was very, 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 it was very good, but it was something else. It was a learning process on how to be consistent in creating things over the internet. It didn't happen only on the podcast. We also developed the same consistency on other platforms, on Instagram, on TikTok, YouTube, and we're still doing it in all of them. And the thing is that in this process, we learned so much. And the plan was last year to continue with the podcast with one episode a week. However, we had a crazy idea last year. I think maybe March, maybe, like it was the beginning of the year. We decided to create a free English course called English 365 or 365. And our idea was to create a course in a way that we could help literally everybody in this process, in a way to support, to help people, and to spread English all over Brazil, especially for the people that can't afford it. We know education is not cheap. and it has a purpose and a reason to be so. I mean, I know it is expensive for you to develop knowledge, and once you have it, it's very hard for you to give it out in a way for free, especially because if you work in a company, the company has lots of employees, and let's say a normal university, the university has lots of expenses and all the staff, so the tuition can't be cheap. And as a result, many people that don't have access to education at a young age end up having sometimes just low paying jobs. And as a result, they still don't have access to education, and they just live that very same life forever. And most of the times, not only for one lifetime, but for generations. So our purpose with the free English course is to create a way out on this route that sometimes take entire generations and just like entire families, and don't create opportunities for them to thrive, to do something else in their lives. That's very unfortunate. So we created it, but the idea was way too crazy. I don't think you can guess what we decided to do. Not even in I would give you probably 3 trials to get it, and I don't think you would. We decided to create a course with 1 lesson a day for 1 entire year. We're not talking about a week or 2 weeks or even a month. We're talking about 12 months of free English classes every day. We started really well. We went recording and posting new lessons every day for about 6 months. That was probably like 4 or 5 months. And in this meantime, it was very difficult to conciliate podcast with the free course, with the paid community, with the recorded lessons, with the live lessons, with the private classes that we have, with all the things that were going on. So podcasts, we paused. And in the end of the year, towards October, that was actually September, we moved into a house. We lived in an apartment, a very little apartment, and then we moved into a house. So in this moment, or rhythm and or consistency with English 365 dropped significantly, because it was very hard to keep up with all the routine plus the free classes, especially because we didn't have an office set up and things were just like all over. It was really crazy. But still, we're still recording class here and there. We're still doing it. And at some point I realized we had more recorded lessons than students. It's like something is wrong. Either the course is not good, or we're not giving it time to spread and for more people to get it. So we changed the strategy a little bit. So now we don't have lessons every single day anymore. But the course is still going, and it is still progressing and evolving and moving forward. And since we changed the strategy and we're not recording things every single day anymore, and since we love recording episodes to the podcast and just doing this content sharing in a way that's very interactive, it's very dynamic, and it's very productive, because we go through different thoughts when we have guests in conversations. We most of the times we talk about things we wouldn't in our own, like we wouldn't come up with. So by talking and sharing, we usually have a bigger understanding of matters, of important things, of the learning process, consistency, English, communication, and all of that. So that's why we're back. And I want to give you a recap, a review of last year. So as we mentioned, we recorded over 150 lessons for the free course. We recorded about 100 lessons for the community. We also had an average of 15 plus private students over the course of the year. We grew our social media probably, I don't know, we expanded the audience a little bit. And more importantly than all of it that I just said, we developed and we didn't stop. We continued and we grew. We grew not only in numbers, but we grew on regards to teaching, to understanding the process, to being more effective on teaching English to other people, in regards to being more consistent, to just helping other people to reach their dreams and to accomplish what they want. And that's the biggest and most important thing, because life is not a finite game. It is an infinite game. It doesn't have end. And that's how we try to take and to face our challenges here. We're not doing it for the short run. On the contrary, we're trying to build something solid that will help people, not only 2023, in 2024, in 2028, in 2030, in 2040. We're trying to do something that will last, that will help people to achieve their dreams and to become their best version. That's our commitment. That's why we have it, learn and become. If you learn, you become better than you were before. And if you're constantly learning and becoming, you're constantly becoming a better person, a better version of yourself. So this concept of infinite game, I learned it from Simon Sinek, which is an American writer. I don't know if he's an American writer. He's a writer. And he talks about it. He says, life is infinite. Like our lives are finite. But life as a whole, like the concept of life is infinite. He gives a good example using a business structure. He says, a business, a company is the purpose of the company is to continue. It's not to be the best company in a quarter and then drop. It's not to be the best company in the year and then fail. It's not to be the best company in the century and go bankrupt. That's not the goal. The goal of a company is to last, is to continue. And he says, what we do in our lives, it has to have this same mentality, that we're not doing it for the short run. We're not facing it just for the now, just for right now, for today. We're actually trying to build something that will last more than us, because things will continue going after we're gone. And so this concept of the infinite game applies directly also into our learning process, because I've been studying English for about 10 years, which is a long time for me. And I've learned so much over the last 10 years, and I still learn a lot every single day. And the same goes with my mother tongue, with Portuguese. I still learn Portuguese often. There are many words I don't know. There are many expressions I've never seen. And the thing is, I can be stagnant in my Portuguese learning, in my English learning, because I've got enough to do what I have to do. But language is almost like an infinite game. We have to always pursue and like always pursue to get better, or always try to do our best, always try to develop, always try to achieve that next level. And when we have this mentality over the learning process, that we're not doing it for the 6-month run, it's a lot easier to focus on progress and not on result. The point is, we don't have to go really fast. We just can't go behind. We just can't fall short to the point where we've been. If we went from point 0 to point 1, our goal is not to go like from point 1 to point 100 in a week. We have to focus on progressing. We can go 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, and so on and so far. But we can't go 0.9, we can go 0.8, 0.7. No, we have to move forward. And that's the concept, the idea of the infinite, the thing that we're constantly doing it. It's not for the short run. And that's where habits come into the game. Over the last year, I was very successful into keeping up with the habits I established, except for one that I failed. And I can say that I failed purposely because I gave up, just because it wouldn't be intelligent for me to dedicate in doing that, which was, I set the goal to learn Spanish last year, but due to the circumstances and the amount of things I had to do, and considering the impact that Spanish will have in my life, I decided not to spend or not to focus my energy into learning Spanish last year. And I'm not saying I'm not going to learn Spanish. On the contrary, I will document it for the first time ever. I want to learn 2 more languages. Currently speak Portuguese, English, and I want to learn Spanish. And I also want to learn Hebrew, which is like another level of language because they have a different alphabet and everything. But just saying, I didn't give up on learning Spanish. It was just not my priority in 2022. And when we talk about habits, we're actually talking about little things that we implement in our daily lives that will somehow help us to become the type of person that we want to be. And James Clear, the author of the book Atomic Habits, has a beautiful statement about it. He says, every vote, every action we take, every action we have, all we do, is a vote, which means is a choice we have towards the person we want to be. In other words, if you exercise every day, you are casting votes, you are voting on being a healthy and athletic and fit person. But if you're just like eating like junk food all the time and you're not exercising, you're casting votes towards being person probably overweight and maybe with health related issues in the next decade or in the next 2 decades. But when we have the right habits, we will be able to cast enough votes so that we become the type of person we want to be. I was talking to a student this week on Wednesday, on Tuesday, and he will record an episode with us in the next couple of weeks. I've already asked him for us to do it, and it's really interesting. He's an amazing person. He's been trying to learn English for the last many years, but he couldn't. So last year, from February to December, we were very dedicated. We worked really hard, but we didn't focus on amount, like on craziness, on like, I don't know, just like marvelous things. No, we just did the simple, but in a very specific and in a very good way. And he decided to stop with the private lessons. And the reason why he decided to do so shocked me in a positive way. And I was very happy and very proud of him for that. He said, I didn't think I was capable of studying on my own anything. And after those, it was like about 10 months. After those 10 months, I came to realize that I was able to practice English about every day. His consistency was incredible. We have a habit tracker in our private program with the classes, and his average was something like 270 days out of 300. So he was very dedicated. And as a result, he got great results. Like the consequence of his action is he got amazing results. And he said, I will try for the next 6 months to continue to keep up with the habit tracker, with the dedication, and I'll try to develop on my own to see how far I can go doing it. And I don't know what he thought when he decided to do it, like what he thought my reaction would be, or like I don't know. I don't think that's the most usual answer of a teacher to a situation like that. But I was actually happy. I was very content and very proud of him with his decisions and also with his results. Because think with me, he's been trying to learn English for many years. And in a period of 10 months, we organize, we apply what we believe, habit. The simple things done in a right way. Consistency, familiarity, discipline. And he did it. And what happened to him? He got the results. That's it. And I feel like that's the most beautiful thing that a teacher can experience in anything, is to have the student with to take the student to a level not only of knowledge but also of confidence, where they can say, I'm done and I will follow a different route. Like, I'll move forward. I want more. I want to challenge myself. I believe this was great, but I want to go for more. I want to go in a different way. I want to take risks. I want to just see the challenge. A funny thing, a message from him just popped up on my phone right now. Like, nice. He just sent me something that we will talk about. It's written here on my notes. System. It's something that he just sent me in the message. So check out how this conversation is going to go. So he applied everything and he got confident enough to move forward. So we establish habits, and those habits, they are set in a system. And what is a system? What is a system? A system is the way something is organized to create a result. So for example, if you enter in a system, in a computer, let's say, just like a computer program, like Windows or whatever program in the computer, they have a structure to work in a way that makes sense and in a way that produces the results they were created for. Like a system that doesn't work, that doesn't produce the results they're supposed to, is a bad system, right? And most of the time, we have terrible systems in our lives. Like they're horrible, they're awful. For example, we say, I want to be, I'll use the same example I used a few minutes ago about being healthy, exercising, eating junk food. I want to be healthier. Nice. You want to be healthier. That's amazing. That's a very nice thing, and you should indeed do it. That's great. But if you want to be healthier and your system is set in a way that you always eat out and you always eat fast food and you never have the time to exercise and you don't like the physical exercises that you've tried and you love just sitting on the couch and watch Netflix and play video games. Nothing against Netflix or video games. I like them myself. I don't play video game because I don't have one. And I watch Netflix probably every other week, maybe, or maybe like once a month. I don't know. But I like those things too. I just don't do them every day because I don't have the time to do them every day. But the point is, if your life system is organized in a way that is leading you to the future you don't want, you have a bad system. And because you have a bad system with bad habits, you will not get there. It's impossible. It's like math. 1 + 1 = 2. But lots of the times we try like 1 × 0 = 20. No, it equals 0. Like having a good plan, having a good New Year's resolution is not going to produce the results you want. It is not. So your goal is not as important as your system. I'll repeat that. Your goal is not as important as your system. And now, what is a system in the end of the day? So let's think about a system to think about what it is and how it works. First, a system is a collection of habits that will lead you somewhere. For example, I'll talk about our school. So it will make sense from a business perspective. And I might share a little bit of my own too. But every Monday morning, we're scheduled, our time is blocked for private classes. So Monday morning, we teach from 8 a.m. till 12. Every Monday afternoon at about 12 p.m., we have a live lesson for the community students. At night, we teach. And in the afternoon, we organize and we produce content We record videos, we record content, we do research. On Tuesday, our schedule is more flexible. On Wednesday, we teach all day long. So that's the day we don't have like a system of creation on this day. We teach private lessons. That's it. And the same goes on Thursday. Our system used to be set in a way that Wednesday was our podcast day, but now it's been moved to Friday. So on Friday, now we record the podcast. So what is the system? The system is having the schedule, in this case, that is pre-established, that's set in a way that will produce the results we're trying to get. Now about my personal life. My day finishes usually at about 10:30 p.m. and I like to have a morning routine. Like I like to read in the morning. I prefer exercising in the morning before I shower and start my day at work. I like reading. I like having a time to think, to like just go through thoughts, pray, meditate. And so my routine is something like that, my system. Wake up 5:30, usually roll out of bed. First thing, I make coffee. Then I read. Then I exercise, shower, and it's time for Camilla to wake up to go to work. So I wake Camilla up. She's my wife. We have breakfast together. When I have to drive her to work, I drive her to work, but it's usually she drives to work. So she goes to work. Then I start my day of work on the schedule that I told you previously about the company, about the school. And on Tuesday, where we have more flexibility, in the morning, I write. I like writing. It's one of my passions, and it's a skill I want to develop. Last year, I think I wrote about 50 articles, so it's been working. So every Tuesday morning, I sit down and I write. In the afternoon, I record stuff. Usually, that's the plan most of the weeks. And on Friday, it's usually set for me to record some stuff. And that's the day I go to my parents' house. So that would be my system. Like that's the collection of rules, of habits that will shape your day. And the problem is, a lot of the times we never have like this habit of being in touch with English. I'll read something, I'll listen to something, I'll watch something, I'll talk to somebody. We don't have it scheduled. We're just like, oh, let's see what happens. And then nothing happens. That's it. And if nothing happens and we are not doing anything, we can't complain. We have to think of the sentence from Alice in Wonderland, where the cat says, if you don't know where you're going, any road will get you there. That's it. That's the truth. If you don't know where you are going, any road will be amazing. Because any road will take you there. Simple. So when you have a habit or when you have a goal, something you want to accomplish, and you have habits that establish and organize your day, you have a system, and this system is your friend in the process to help you become the person you want to be. But it doesn't mean you will want to do it every day, or that you'll be comfortable every day, that you will be happy every day, that you'll be pumped up to do it every day. So in those days, you need something else. Those days, you need the pill of discipline. The pill of discipline is the doing what you have to do because you know you have to do it, even if you don't feel like doing it. It is that simple. You have a plan, you have a system, you have a goal, you do it. Well, but what if I don't feel like doing it? You have a plan, you have a system, you have a goal, you do it. If you don't feel like doing it, it means you're not feeling like becoming the type of person you want to be. If you don't feel like doing it, if you don't feel like doing it, you don't feel like evolving. You don't feel like growing. You don't feel like becoming the person you dream to become. That's the truth, and it is tough. It is uncomfortable. It is challenging, but that's the truth. I would say unfortunately, but I don't think it is unfortunate. I think it is actually fortunately, that's the truth. If it was easy, if it was just like do nothing, get results, I don't think we would value the results as much as we should. Two, everybody would do it. There would be no such a thing as failure. And most importantly than all the things that I said, you wouldn't become a different person through struggle, through the challenge, through the dedication. Just wouldn't happen. It wouldn't. Unfortunately, or fortunately, it wouldn't. And that's what I'm sharing with you is just a positive case study of our 2022. The person that applied, that did, that worked, that dedicated into doing the things we suggested, got results, evolved, moved forward. And so we've been moving forward along with the students. We've been helping them to produce their results as we experience and as we develop and as we have our own. So the podcast is one of the many tools we have, and even we suggest the students to listen to those episodes and to practice to practice like their English through contact with the language. And let me see if there is anything else. Yeah, and the last thing I want to say is that we're here to help you to answer your questions, to come up with answers to your curiosity, to your uncertainties, to the things you want to know and you never had the chance to. And that's it. So as we move forward, we improve, we get better, we evolve. And that's why we're here. And that's why we don't give up. That's why we're not gonna give up or stop doing what we're doing, because we know the reason why we're doing it. We want to help you to become the best version of yourself through this process. And with that, I finish today's episode. Thank you so much for listening, for being here, for being with us. It is a big pleasure and an honor to share knowledge and to have someone listening to us. And I look forward to seeing you here with us in the next episode. I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you later.